Hello everybody, welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. I'm Jason, this is my fuzzy co-star Freya here. We're bringing you today's video. As always guys, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We say this pretty much every time, but we're just a small little family channel. Me, Fuzzy One, we're upstairs in my house right now. And we just love to talk about books. We want to bring more books out to you guys, and we'd appreciate any support you guys might want to give us. Don't forget to look at the links down below for links to today's book and anything else that might be applicable. We signed up with the Amazon affiliates, so any traffic through there just helps us also, so we really appreciate it. Don't forget to take a look. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about today's book. I'm going to try not to give too many spoilers. It's tough to review a book without giving at least a few spoilers out, so there might be a couple in there. And I'm not going to do my usual 4 categories because I've already talked about them in the past because I'm talking about book 5 in a series. So today, I want to talk about Seth Ring and Battle Mage Farmer 5. 5? Yeah, Battle Mage Farmer 5. And guys, this series just keeps getting better and better and better and better and better every single time, which is amazing to me because so many books, quote unquote, jump the shark, get worse eventually, or they're dragging it on too long. And I don't know what Seth Ring's endgame is, but he's definitely has so many things going on in this that you can tell there's going to be a lot of books to come, and they're all going to be awesome books. So we're once again with John Sutton, the Eternal Flame, and his continuing efforts to protect the world. Excuse me.
Bless you.
And there you, in his continuing efforts to protect the world. Before it was doom points, now it's apocalypse points. And either way, it just seems like no matter what's going on, the world is doomed. And it always seems to be his fault in some way, shape, or form. And he's trying to figure out how to fix it. Because not only is it his fault most of the time, he's also the only one able to fix these things. And now we're starting to be introduced into the wider universe, multiverse, whatever you might want to call it. This is an interesting book in that it's a lit RPG book, but in some ways, in a lot of ways, it feels like, almost feels like a cultivation book because we have higher realms, higher worlds, lower worlds, worlds with more just energy, mana, worlds with less, and all that really seems really seems familiar from the cultivation books that I've read. But this is not a cultivation book. It's definitely a lit RPG book. There's a system in place, so we do start to learn a little bit more about the system that is going to have you absolutely cracking up. One of the great things about Seth Ring and how he writes is he writes so gripping, so much fun, and his plots and how he writes his characters and just the events and things going on. Again, extremely gripping. You have difficulty putting the book down. I was very tired at work a couple of times because of this book. But at the same time, it's hilarious. There's so many things that happen. It's hilarious. And some books that are comedy aspect of books, the plot suffers because of it, because they're kind of trying to be funny, trying too hard to be funny, shoehorning jokes in. And in this case, this book, Seth Ring, he's just funny. These books are just absolute riot, and yet still also a serious book and just a fantastic fantasy-esque, lit RPG-esque book. So as we get introduced to the wider realm, which we got hints of in the last book. In book 4, they finally managed to pierce the gateway, I suppose, and Katrine and one other made it through, and then they sent a message back, and that message was not good. So John decides he's going to go find out what's going on. Now, as usual, John is a little bit overpowered anywhere he goes for various reasons. Originally it was just because of one spell, then it was because of some skills he had, then it was again because of some spells and skills he had, and now it's an entirely different reason. He also, of course, has that, as we learned before, has that dragon residing in his soul that has already attacked him once to try and take over his body, and he has to worry about fighting that off as well. So he's got all this power, but he's also trying to hold it back, just like before. Before it was with doom points. If he used all his power, then the end of the world came closer. So he had to hold back. Now he has to hold back for other reasons, such as he doesn't want to resurrect this dragon that he can't defeat. So he goes to this other world looking for Katrine, who's got issues. I'm just going to say she's got issues. And the events of this book or this portion of it are very, very eye-opening as far as what can happen, what's going to happen in the future. And, of course, more enemies that John makes. John's very good at making enemies. He's incredible at making enemies. I thought I was good at ticking people off. John's fantastic at it. And then, of course, he returns to the valley and his his own world, and unfortunately brings back a few things that he doesn't need to be bringing back, and has to hamstring himself greatly. Now, he's still pretty powerful, but a lot of his power has to be contained and completely locked away in a way, and he's trying to figure out solutions to that. Luckily, he has help. Ella, Ferdy, Sigvald. He's got some help. He's got some allies out there, and some of them are extremely powerful. As we learned in the last book, Ferdy is far more powerful than we originally suspected, to the point where even Sigvald is not able to keep up, and Sigvald's got his own level of power. And again, Seth Ring's writing. First off, Ferdy's an absolute riot, but just the relationships between Sigvald and Ferdy are pretty amazing. We definitely see how much of a close connection these two have as far as a friendship goes, and a pride in each other's abilities. And Sigvald, before there was definitely a lot of competition, it's still competition, but you see a lot of pride in Sigvald and how he reacts to Ferdy's strength and what Ferdy can do with Ferdy's abilities. So, in a way, it's almost like a big brother, little brother kind of thing. And it's pretty awesome. And again, Ferdy's an absolute riot, and now just an absolute beast of his own. Sigvald ain't exactly weak. And then, of course, we've got John, who even hamstrung ain't exactly weak. But we start learning more about we learn more about the dragon, Faratuk, something like that, the deceiver. And then we learn about Gorlak the destroyer. We learn a lot more about the destroyer, because that's the first of the main threats that is coming for this world that John has to stop. It's the first of the main threats. He has, I believe it's 5 main threats that he has to stop before the apocalypse comes, or to prevent the apocalypse, and the destroyer is the first one. And this book, book 5, deals a lot with the destroyer. We definitely have some hints of what are likely some of the other threats that are going to be coming, but the primary one in this particular book is the destroyer. We also get, I would say, a partial resolution to or at least maybe a temporary, to what is going on with the deceiver as well, with this dragon residing in John's soul. Or at least he addresses things. He does finally address things pretty well. But again, the destroyer. The destroyer is the main part of it. And the continuing evolution and strengthening, I guess you could say, of John's allies, especially Ferdy, Sigvald, even Rebia, the plant being, and of course, Ella. I think it's Ella. And they're continuing pathways to their own levels of power so that they can continue to be allies of John's, not subordinates of John's. And that is really what their main goal is to be part of the solution instead of a forgotten piece, or a piece to be protected or left behind. We get a lot of work towards that. Again, a lot more on the destroyer, a little bit more on the deceiver, and just more knowledge about the world, or the wider worlds in general. Absolutely fascinating. The way the book ends almost made me want to cry, because we get so many resolutions to a lot of questions and a lot of things that were going on, while at the same time leaving a few things unresolved that you can tell are going to be resolved in the next book, possibly at the very beginning of the next book. Yet I want to know right now. What's awesome is at least we know that book 6 is coming out. It's coming out in a few months. So you got to get this book under your belt before you get to book 6, so read it soon. If you have not read any of the Battle Mage Farmer books, you need to first slap yourself. Then you need to go get Battle Mage Farmer 1 by Seth Ring and start from there. Absolutely fantastic. I would put this particular series in my top 5 of the current series I read as far as my favorite series go. It's just great. It's just amazing. So again, after you hit the like and subscribe buttons, guys, go check out Battle Mage Farmer 5. If you've not read any of the Battle Mage Farmers, again, slap yourself, then go read Battle Mage Farmer 1, all the way up until you catch up to us in book 5. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now.